Who doesn't love British comedy? Benny Hill.
Push off! Let me alone!
Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Oh, yes, the Norwegian Blue. What's wrong with it?
I'll tell you what's wrong with it. It's dead. That's what's wrong with it.
Mr. Bean. Keeping Up Appearances.
I am a highly desirable private residence in an area of outstanding natural property values.
And of course, the greatest sitcom ever written, Fawlty Towers.
I'll do this anymore! He
With a literary tradition that includes the works of Chaucer, Henry Fielding, Jonathan Swift, and Oscar Wilde, it's no small wonder that the Brits have wit. And you know, if you can't laugh off losing an empire, then what can you laugh at? So, with such a great comedic tradition, how are we to understand Katie Hopkins? Because when she tries to be witty, she's anything but. And when she tries to be serious, she's a joke. Hopkins recently put herself in front of a microphone to talk about the upcoming election, and she proved that deporting immigrants is not always a bad idea. We're going to show the footage of Hopkins engaging in MAGA spin and right-wing political fantasies. But before we do, a little bit of background on one of Britain's most stunningly unsuccessful people. A professional troll, Katie Hopkins is a role model for the untalented, proving that if you lack merit, just say outrageous things and garner as much media attention as you can. Especially since, having gained attention, you won't be able to hold it long due to your lack of talent. Hopkins got her start as a media personality when she was cast as a competitor in 2007, which was year 3 of the British version of The Apprentice. While on the show, she tried to make a name for herself as the hypercritical and savvy woman capable of making cutting remarks about her competitors, fake tans, overweight people, and maternity leave. She aimed high for the woman you love to hate role, but the act fell flat. After that, Hopkins basically went on the British equivalent of the reality show circuit, always trying to remain in the public eye and never securing an audience or a following. But, you know, keep at it long enough and some producer somewhere, desperate to make a name for themselves, will take a gamble on you. And that's precisely what happened to Hopkins. In 2015, she began her own chat show, If Katie Hopkins Ruled the World, and it played on the digital channel TLC, the Learning Channel. Like, that's not ironic. She wanted to bring a new approach to chat and panel shows. Yeah, well, the series was canceled in December after the first year, owing to low audience ratings. Oh, I guess no one was interested in Katie ruling the world. Go figure. So after a spectacular string of failures in the UK, Katie decided to look for greener pastures in America, thinking that Americans will always fall for a UK accent as smart. So here she is at a Trump rally, on a search and destroy mission for anyone with a microphone, when this poor sap from Channel 11 made the sad mistake of interviewing her. Let's listen in on what a professional troll who has absolutely no political connections, no knowledge of American culture, no connection to America or the American people, has to say.
Not only will Donald Trump win in an 82 million landslide, but if they try and take it from him, if they try and put Biden in, I've spoken to great people in Portland, in Florida, and they say, we're all in, we're done. We will fight, we will join the militia, and we'll fight back. So,
Really?
Yeah, America's gearing up for the fight. There's going to be a showdown.
That's what I was always thinking. Like,
coming.
we can't let it
The
happen.
storm is coming. It's really hot. Almost as hot as me.
The cute.
Okay, so her comments are so far-fetched and so off base, it's hard to even remotely take her seriously. She's spoken to great people in Portland. Which Portland would that be, Katie? Portland, Maine? Are MAGA Mainers going to storm the Chesapeake with M60s mounted to their lobster boats? Or are you talking about Portland, Oregon, where legions of Trailblazer fans, still frustrated that Clyde Drexler couldn't defeat the Detroit Pistons in the NBA Finals, are now going to take up arms and storm the Capitol? And these people say they are all in, we will fight, we will join the militia? Not for nothing, British person, but those kinds of militia are not exactly legal. And who cares if you know a couple of people who think along those lines? You certainly aren't going to be leading that all-in attempt to overthrow the government, are you? The only thing you are going to do is watch from the sidelines and head for the hills the moment you catch a whiff of defeat. But hey, you do have to admire the way in which she would definitely glom on and pretend to have been a leader the second there's any kind of success. America's gearing up for the fight? How would you know? Your exposure to America is about as minuscule as the exposure setting on your average sports photo, about 1/1000th of a second. I'll bet she's never even eaten at a Waffle House, let alone talk to someone there. There's going to be a showdown? Now, how Freudian can you get? All of this is precisely just a show for her, and she wants center stage. It's just an opportunity to try and ride another media event for other media opportunities. The utter depravity here of trying to cultivate this right-wing fantasy of another violent insurrection is just stunningly callous. Police officers died defending the Capitol against the last violent mob. Trying to pretend that there will be an even bigger mob that will prevail just so you can get more media circulation is the modern day equivalent of selling Bibles to widows by telling them their husband ordered it just before he died. Well, for Katie Hopkins, life is only a paper moon. I mean, how else can you account for a talentless hack who actually thinks she's hot? The only thing hot about anyone playing up right-wing insurrection fantasies and trying to get a one-liner out of it is the probable location she's going to end up in when she leaves this world. I've got a one-liner for you, Katie. Pray the Minnesota Vikings win a Super Bowl. Then that place will freeze over. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.